Welcome to IHIP News, Pumps.
Well, Jennifer, as you know, the wildfires in California have just been devastating. I mean, absolutely tearing people's lives apart. So, of course, President-elect Trump and his first lady / leash holder, whatever you want to call him, Elon Musk, are spreading disinformation. And that type of thing only harms people. In fact, Elon Musk was going on his X platform encouraging looters, saying looting is legal in California, which Gavin Newsom has to go back on the platform and say, no, in fact, it's not. But what really bothers me about this is people's lives are being destroyed. Their homes, they've lost everything they have. And you've got the president-elect and the ringleader in chief absolutely making a mockery of efforts to control the fire and all the people that are fighting the fire, encouraging looting. I mean, who does that shit?
They do. I mean, the cruelty's the point of the MAGA movement. I mean, I think we can look at all of the MAGA stuff, but the through line through every single issue they have is cruelty. That is the link that links from immigration to tax breaks for the wealthy, all the way through is the cruelty. They love the cruelty, and this is ripe for them because they desperately want to disparage Gavin Newsom. They have disdain for California because it's solidly blue. And so this is what they do. The cruelty of politicizing people's suffering is the epicenter of the MAGA movement.
So, of course, Trump is going on and on with disinformation. So Gavin Newsom, in addition to trying to do what he can as governor to stop the fires, has to go on an accurate information campaign. He set up a website. He keeps tweeting on Twitter. And this I found extremely revealing. This is what Gavin Newsom said in an interview with Pod Save America's Jon Favreau.
What's the disinformation you were referring to in the letter, and what is the correct information?
Well, I mean, look, what the president-elect was saying about state water project and the Delta smelt somehow being culpable of somehow leading to some of the challenges that we face down here. It's words. It's a salad. It's the form and substance of fog. It's made up. It's delusional. And it's a consistent mantra from Trump going back years and years and years. And it's reinforced over and over and over within the right wing. And so it's become gospel. And it's so profoundly ignorant. And yet he absolutely believes it. It's not an ignorance on his part. It's sort of an indelible misinformation that he sort of manifested, a falsehood. And he decided to bring it into this crisis in a profoundly demeaning and damaging way. I say demeaning to the facts, demeaning to the people that were suffering and struggling, to the kids literally who were watching their schools burn down. I was just talking to a staff member, good friend, whose house was burned down, and his 4-year-old, as they're driving away, said, "Daddy, did you get my bunny?" And I got 4 kids.
Yeah.
No empathy, no compassion, no capacity to understand. Just a guy who wants to be understood. That's hard because a lot of people were misled, and it's, I think, led to a lot of finger pointing and consternation at a time when we're quite literally, and I say literally because second before I was here, I just got the latest briefing, we're bringing cadaver dogs out there in some parts of the fire where people are still potentially missing, and we've already lost 11 lives.
This is going to be the first of a lot of this for the next 4 years. Every chance Trump gets to play politics and blame somebody, he's going to do it. And he is particularly jealous of Gavin Newsom. He's particularly buttsore that California doesn't vote for him and that 54 electoral rich state always goes solidly Democratic. So at the core of this, you have Elon Musk, who is just the biggest conspiracy theorist. He puts out a tweet where he tries to act like he's a scientist and uses a false equivalency of saying, well, why doesn't Texas have wildfires, et cetera, not understanding that the climate in California is completely different than the climate in Texas. And when Texas had problems with their power and lost all power, they played politics within the Republican Party. It was clearly a Texas thing. They're on their own grid, but then they tried to blame the wind turbines for that failure when really it was a failure within the government of Texas. With wildfires, unlike hurricanes and unlike tornadoes, you have literally no warning sign. Hurricanes, weeks on end, you see it forming out in the Atlantic. You see it start to move. You start to generate the path. The same with tornadoes. You see them form hours before they actually hit. This is so horrible, but I believe the cruelty is the point, that they love it. There are people feasting on this. They like to see Democrats' houses burned down. They like it.
You know what's interesting to me is he said Trump believes the misinformation, which is alarming to me for several reasons. Number one, that means he cannot detect between truth and a lie, which we've known for a long time, eating the cats, eating the dogs. But it shows how irrational he is. And not only is he irrational, but his keeper is irrational. Elon Musk, like you said, comparing California climate to Texas climate. I wonder, does he not know the difference, or does he not give a shit? Because my thought is Trump is not an intellectual giant. He's not well read. So I believe that he doesn't know the difference. But by all accounts, Elon Musk is very smart. I think he knows the difference, but he doesn't give a shit. He's putting himself in the middle of this conflict because he is a raging narcissist that wants to be in the middle of the action. And it's gross. And for us to sit here and allow disinformation like this to continue to float, to damage people's lives. But what can we do about it? Because you have a whole right-wing echo chamber that's repeating these lies to politicize people's deaths and loss of everything they own. Jen, this morning on my news app, I was reading up on the story of X suspending the journalist who debunked the theory that Elon Musk was running his own fan account. Left-leaning news source The Independent reveals that the reporter was restricted on X after debunking Elon Musk sock puppet rumors. CNN echoes this narrative in their headline, X suspends journalist after debunking theory Elon Musk fan account was Musk himself. Even right-leaning source Spiked asked the question, is Elon Musk censoring journalists? But of course, also from the right, New York Post frames the theory surrounding Musk's account as a bizarre conspiracy theory.
Listener, before I go any further, in case you want to follow along at home, Pumps and I use Ground News. This way we can see all of the angles, all of which I can access here in one place from my phone. Out of the dozens of articles Ground News found reporting on this, I can easily see that the distribution leads towards left-wing media, with only 25% of outlets reporting from the right. So if you get your news mostly from right-leaning media, you may have missed this story, and that's why we love their blind spot feed. It is dedicated to highlighting stories that are being disproportionately covered by the media. Ground News is basically the Spotify of news, and that's why Pumps and I love it. They give you access to all of the world's news on one platform with context on each source, like their political lean, how subjective their reporting is, and even where they get their funding, which is crucial for stories like this one. And this one was super juicy. So join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that we use every single day. They're subscriber funded and female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's Ground, GROUND news.com/IHIP. The link is below in the show notes. I don't know that it's so much about intelligence at this point, as much as it is, these are incredibly broken, toxic people that are leading America. And so they have a bias that they want to lean into anything that damages their opponent and promotes them. They have a very black and white worldview. Elon Musk became radicalized at some point. You know, he buys X. His own biographer has said he thinks he's completely spiraling down. So I don't know that we can apply like a stable, rational thinker to either one of these human beings. These are really mentally ill, disturbed people. Rumors are that Elon Musk is in like a total untreated addictive state, which this kind of stuff makes sense. me having been around addiction, I understand this sort of bravado. And so that's kind of what I think it is. Here's what's interesting to me. And I talked about this last week. Steve Bannon gave an interview with an Italian newspaper, and he is wound up like a cheap clock about Elon Musk. And he says he has vowed to have Elon Musk run out of the MAGA administration by inauguration day. He calls him a complete over racist. And I said this last week. I said, this is a really strange bedfellow. And so I'm going to sit back and eat my popcorn. But he is wound up, Steve Bannon, about these H-1B visas. Here's some quotes from Steve Bannon in the interview. He, meaning Elon Musk, will not have a blue pass to the White House. He will not have full access to the White House. He will be like any other person. And he goes on to say that he will go to war over this. Bannon completely opposes the H-1B visa program, which allows employers to hire foreign workers with highly specialized skills and technical education. And then he says the thing of the H-1B visas is about the entire immigration system is gamed by the tech overlords. They use it to their advantage, and the people are furious. He even says, and this is where it gets kind of juicy, the South African-born mogul was also an H-1B visa holder himself. Then Bannon links, I made it my personal thing to take this guy down before because he put money in. I was prepared to tolerate it. I'm not prepared to tolerate it anymore. He calls Musk a truly evil guy, a very bad guy. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Musk is calling the MAGA base racist because they don't want H-1B visas. The MAGA base is calling Musk a racist because he's a white South African from apartheid state, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like inner MAGA cannibalism. Musk has the most direct access to Trump, shockingly, how much he allows Musk to walk him around. And so I think I'm going to have my eyes on this. I think that there's a huge opportunity here to message on this and piggyback to start siphoning off some of the moderate MAGA base, because within the movement, if they are disparaging Musk, then the Democrats have an opportunity to really beat the drum about how does this guy have all this power? Why is he appointed? He wasn't even born here. Using some of those MAGA style things to just really continue to drive the wedge in the MAGA movement. I think that's what the Democrats have to do. They have to play like hardball here.
Well, I would love to see the Democrats play hardball, full stop, on every issue. But it cracks me up that MAGA base, Steve Bannon and Elon Musk, are trying to vie for who's the most racist, who's the least racist.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole group is a bunch of racists. But interesting to me is that Trump is allowing Elon Musk to be the star of this administration so far. I just don't know how his unwell, narcissistic mental illness is handling that, which goes back to, do they have something on him? But I will say, if I had to put my money on which one of these people, Steve Bannon or Elon Musk, is going to come out the winner, I'm going to go Musk every time because he has more money. And Trump is transactional. He's pay for play. So Elon Musk is going to win that argument.
Right. But I think that on the surface, yes. But underneath that, what has kept propelling Trump is this MAGA base.
Right.
And how rabid they are. And if Bannon keeps penetrating and causes the MAGA base to start cannibalizing each other, and Trump starts to lose some of that support, and the loss of some of that support provides cover for Congress people to vote against some of Trump's agenda, he's going to find himself in a very precarious position. I think it's a little grayer. Once you dive under the good versus evil, really on their side, it's evil versus evil, right, and which evil one wins the most. By putting a sword in the MAGA base and having them, a large portion of them, dislike Elon Musk and see him as an enemy, and seeing the right-wing media echo chamber having to pick sides, that's where the tea is. That's where the juice is. And how does he handle that? On the surface of it, yeah, Elon Musk is way too powerful. I mean, entirely too powerful that somebody could be a billionaire and have that kind of access to the president of the United States. But when the base, you start losing your base, what happens to Trump then?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. I'm here for it.
Okay, we'll see you guys later.
It's so